My name is Lisa J. Thompson, and I was 29 years old when one smug sentence ended my 3-year relationship and gave me my life back. "You're not competing with her," Ethan said during an argument. "You already lost." He was talking about Vanessa, his ex-girlfriend. I did not scream or demand an explanation. I walked into our bedroom, pulled a duffel bag from the closet, and began packing. Ethan followed me. "What are you doing?" I folded another shirt and placed it inside. "Letting the winner have you." His confidence disappeared. He started crying, insisting he had not meant it that way. But some words do not create the truth. They reveal it. Ethan and I met at a mutual friend's barbecue in the city, where we both worked entry-level jobs. He was vibrant, funny, and carried an energy that made every room feel brighter. I was steadier. I planned ahead, saved money, and believed reliability was something people valued. 6 months into our relationship, Ethan lost his marketing job during company cutbacks. He took it hard. Some nights, he lay awake convinced he would never recover. I picked up extra shifts at my engineering firm to cover the rent. I cooked meals, revised his resume, and listened whenever he needed to talk. One evening, after another failed interview, I surprised him with his favorite takeout and prepared a hot bath. He held me and whispered, "You're my rock." I believed him. When Ethan found a better job 2 hours away, I requested a transfer, packed our apartment, and moved with him. I left close friends behind. I postponed a professional certification because studying would have taken time away from helping him adjust. I even began saving for a future engagement ring, imagining that one day Ethan might propose during a quiet weekend trip. Then Vanessa began appearing in our conversations. At first, Ethan mentioned her casually. Vanessa used to take spontaneous road trips. Vanessa never planned everything. Vanessa knew how to make life exciting. She was the reckless woman from his college years. Tattoos, a motorcycle, and no interest in consequences. They had broken up because she was unreliable and repeatedly cheated on him. Yet in Ethan's memories, she became almost mythical. Whenever I suggested following a budget, he rolled his eyes. Vanessa never obsessed over every dollar. When I planned a quiet dinner, he complained that she would have surprised him with concert tickets. Each comparison hurt, but I convinced myself Ethan was stressed. I tried harder. I booked a cabin weekend, bought thoughtful gifts, changed routines that had once made me happy. Nothing worked. Then the emotional distance began. Ethan stayed late at work events and returned home smiling at his phone. When I saw Vanessa's name, he said they were only catching up. He began following her accounts again, liking old photographs and reading her messages late at night. When I asked whether something was happening, he accused me of being insecure. "You're imagining things." One night, while we were intimate, he whispered her name. He called it a meaningless mistake. I forgave him, but something inside me never recovered. I had become the safe woman who paid bills and planned the future, while Ethan emotionally chased the person who had already betrayed him. The breaking point arrived on a Tuesday evening. I returned from a long shift and began making dinner. Ethan came home angry because I had not answered a message during a meeting. The argument quickly moved from my phone to the dry cleaning, then to my predictable lifestyle. "Vanessa would have dropped everything for me," he snapped. I lowered the stove flame. "Can we have one disagreement without bringing her into it?" Ethan laughed. It was not a nervous laugh. It was cold and satisfied. "Why? You're not competing with her. You already lost." The room became silent. Every sacrifice I had made suddenly looked different. I was not his partner. I was the placeholder keeping his life stable while he waited for Vanessa. So I packed. When Ethan began crying, he reached for my arm. "Lisa, stop. It was an argument." "No," I said. "It was the truth." I zipped the bag. "You chose a competition I never agreed to enter. Now you can have your winner." I took my keys and walked out while he sobbed behind me. That night, I checked into a cheap hotel and blocked his number. The pain followed me, but for the first time in years, Ethan's comparisons did not. The drive away from the apartment felt endless. Streetlights blurred across the windshield, while Ethan's words repeated in my head. "You're not competing with her. You already lost." It was not only the cruelty that hurt, it was how easily he had said it, as if he had been keeping score for months and had finally decided to tell me the result. I checked into a cheap hotel with buzzing lights and walls thin enough to hear the television in the next room. I sat on the edge of the bed with my duffel bag at my feet and stared at nothing. For the first time, I allowed myself to remember every warning I had ignored, the secret messages, the way Ethan pulled away when I touched him, the dinner with his co-workers where he laughed too loudly while telling stories about Vanessa and their reckless college years. Everyone at the table had looked at me with quiet pity. I had smiled anyway. Love had not only made me blind, it had taught me to tolerate humiliation. The following morning, I called my manager and requested a transfer back to my former office. Then I contacted my friend Jenna, who still lived in the city I had left for Ethan. "You can stay with me," she said immediately. "No questions." I moved onto her couch while searching for an apartment. I blocked Ethan's number, email, and social media accounts. I removed every possible doorway he might use to pull me back into the same argument. The silence was painful at first. I woke expecting his morning messages. I reached for my phone whenever something funny happened, forgetting for a moment that he was no longer the person I wanted to tell. Then I remembered why. Work, exercise, and evenings with old friends slowly replaced the chaos. Jenna watched me unpack one night and shook her head. "You gave up everything for him. I thought we were building something." "You were. He just kept one foot outside." That truth hurt, but it also freed me. I returned to the professional certification I had postponed when Ethan changed jobs. I studied before work, during lunch, and late at night. The material came back faster than expected. Within weeks, I passed the exam. 2 months later, I received a promotion and a raise. I returned to hiking trails I had abandoned. I began reading again without someone complaining that I was emotionally unavailable because I wanted one quiet hour. Life without constant comparison felt strangely calm. Meanwhile, Ethan returned to Vanessa almost immediately. I did not search for updates. They found me anyway. Mutual friends mentioned photographs of them together at bars and concerts. Ethan posted captions about rediscovering what was always meant to be. For a while, they looked happy. Then reality returned. Vanessa was still jealous, impulsive, and unreliable. She disappeared for days, accused Ethan of cheating whenever he spoke to female coworkers, and smashed his phone during one argument. He defended her at first. "She's passionate," he told friends. The same chaos he once called exciting quickly became frightening. A few months later, Vanessa cheated on him with a woman she had dated before him, then disappeared without explanation. She left Ethan alone in the apartment they had begun sharing, surrounded by unpaid bills and the wreckage of the fantasy he had chosen over me. His job suffered. He missed deadlines and arrived late. The promotion he had been expecting went to someone else, and he was eventually moved into a junior position. Friends began distancing themselves. Some of them admitted they had seen how he treated me, but had not known how to intervene. One friend told me, "He kept calling you boring while using your stability to hold his life together." I did not celebrate his downfall, but I finally understood something. I had not lost to Vanessa. Ethan had chosen instability because it felt exciting, then expected me to remain nearby in case he needed somewhere safe to return. The first message came from an unfamiliar number. "Hey, it's Ethan. Can we talk? I miss us." I deleted it. A week later, another arrived. "I know I hurt you. Please let me explain." I ignored that, too. Then his sister called. "Lisa, he's a mess," she said. "You need to talk to him." "I do not need to do anything. He made one mistake." "No, he made a choice." She accused me of being cold and hung up. Ethan left a voicemail that evening. "Vanessa was a disaster. I see that now. You were stable, kind, and always there. Please call me. I need you." Need. That word confirmed everything. He did not miss me. He missed what I had done for him. For 3 years, I had been his emotional shelter, financial backup, and safe future. Now that Vanessa had destroyed the fantasy, he wanted the shelter back, but the door was already closed. 3 weeks after Ethan's first voicemail, he showed up at my new apartment. It was a Saturday afternoon. I had just returned from the gym and was unpacking groceries when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw him standing in the hallway. His hair was unwashed. His eyes were red. He wore the same jacket he had owned when we first met, but now it hung loosely from his shoulders. I opened the door only a few inches. "What are you doing here?" Relief crossed his face. "Lisa, thank God. Please let me in." "No." His expression tightened. "I drove 2 hours. That was your decision." "Vanessa left me." I said nothing. "She cheated with her ex-boyfriend," he continued. "Then she disappeared. She used me, Lisa. She took money from me and left me with the bills." The irony was almost painful. For years, he had described Vanessa as passionate, spontaneous, and impossible to forget. Now the same qualities sounded like warnings. "I am sorry that happened to you," I said. His eyes filled with tears. "You were right about her." "I never asked to be right." "You were always good to me. Stable, kind. You supported me through everything." There it was again, a list of services. Not love, not respect. What I had provided. "We can start over," he said. I was confused. Vanessa manipulated me. I rested one hand against the doorframe. "You told me I had already lost." I was angry. "You said it because you believed it." "No, Lisa, please. I made a mistake." "You made choices for months. The messages, the comparisons, the lies. That sentence only confirmed them." He began crying harder. "Do not throw away 3 years. I did not throw them away. You did." I closed the door gently. He knocked for several minutes, alternating between apologies and accusations. When I refused to answer, his tone changed. "You are heartless. You will regret this. You think you are better than me now." The remorse lasted only as long as he believed it might work. After that, his family joined the campaign. His mother emailed me about loyalty and forgiveness. His father accused me of abandoning Ethan during a mental health crisis. His sister called from different numbers, insisting I was responsible for his depression. I blocked them all. Then mutual friends began reaching out. One woman named Rachel called while I was walking home from work. "Ethan asked me to speak to you," she said. "He is in a bad place. I am not responsible for fixing him. He says he might do something reckless." The words were designed to frighten me. I stopped walking. "If you believe he is in danger, contact emergency services or his family. Do not make me his treatment plan." Rachel's voice hardened. "You have changed." "Yes," I said. "I have." I ended the call. Therapy helped me understand why their pressure still affected me. For years, Ethan had trained me to believe that his emotions were my responsibility. If he was disappointed, I changed plans. If he was insecure, I reassured him. If he became distant, I worked harder. My therapist asked me one afternoon, "What would happen if you allowed another adult to experience the consequences of his own choices?" I thought about it. He might blame me, He already does. That answer stayed with me. I stopped defending myself. I focused on the life growing around the space Ethan had once consumed. My promotion placed me in charge of larger engineering projects. I began traveling for conferences and mentoring junior employees. At a professional networking event, I met Daniel Mercer. He was thoughtful, grounded, and quietly funny. We discovered that we loved the same hiking trails and both hated crowded clubs. Our first date was coffee. Our second was a long walk through a botanical garden. Daniel never compared me to anyone. He asked questions and listened to the answers. When I told him I wanted to take things slowly, he said, "Slow is still forward." 5 months after the breakup, Jenna invited me to her birthday celebration at a rooftop bar. She promised Ethan would not be there. I arrived with Daniel. The city skyline glowed behind us, and for the first time in years, I felt completely comfortable standing beside someone. Then I saw Ethan across the room. He looked thinner, exhausted, and older than I remembered. Our eyes met. His face changed immediately. He glanced at Daniel, then began walking toward us. "Lisa," he said, stopping only a few feet away, "can we talk privately?" "No." His eyes moved toward Daniel. "This will only take a minute." Daniel looked at me. I squeezed his hand. "Anything you need to say can be said here." Ethan's composure cracked. He had reached the moment he believed would bring me back. Instead, he was about to discover that the woman he once called second best had built a life where he no longer had a role. Ethan stood in front of us, trying to hold himself together, while people nearby slowly became quiet. "I know what I said was cruel," he began. "I know I compared you to Vanessa and made you feel like you were never enough." Daniel remained beside me without interrupting. Ethan swallowed. "Vanessa became controlling. She screamed, broke things, accused me of cheating, borrowed money she never returned, and then left me for another man. I lost my position at work. Most of my friends stopped answering. My family is exhausted with me." His voice cracked. "But losing you was the worst part." For a brief moment, I remembered the man I had once loved. I remembered him holding me after he lost his job, whispering that I was his rock. I remembered the apartment we packed together, the future I postponed, and the engagement ring I had once imagined him placing on my finger. Then I remembered the laughter in his voice when he told me I had already lost. "What do you want from me?" I asked. "A second chance." "Why?" His eyes widened. "Because I love you." "No," I said calmly. "You love what my life looked like when I was carrying yours." "That is not fair." "It is exactly fair." Several people nearby pretended not to listen. I continued. "You did not call me because you finally understood my value. You called because Vanessa stopped giving you the excitement you wanted. Your job became unstable, and your friends stopped cleaning up your choices." Tears gathered in his eyes. "I admitted I was wrong." "You admitted Vanessa was worse than you expected. That is not the same as admitting I deserved better." He glanced at Daniel again. "So this is about him?" Daniel's hand remained relaxed in mine. "No, this is about me." Ethan laughed bitterly. "You are enjoying this, showing up with your new boyfriend while I'm struggling." "I did not know you would be here." "Convenient." The old Ethan was beginning to surface. The wounded apology disappeared, replaced by the same resentment that had followed every boundary I set. "You want me to feel guilty because I moved on," I said. "But you moved on before our relationship even ended. You brought Vanessa into our home through every comparison, every message, and every lie." I was confused. "You were comfortable. You believed I would remain available while you decided whether she was worth choosing." His face flushed. "I never asked you to wait." "You did something worse. You expected me to stay without admitting that I was waiting. For several seconds, the rooftop was silent except for music drifting from the bar. Ethan's voice dropped. I need stability. There it was. Not partnership, not trust, stability. I nodded slowly. And I need peace. He looked toward Daniel. You really think he is better than me? Daniel finally spoke. This is not a competition. The simplicity of his answer almost made me smile. Ethan stared at him, then back at me. So that is it? You replace me and pretend 3 years meant nothing? They meant something, I replied. They taught me what I will never accept again. His expression hardened. Vanessa was right about you. You are cold. Perhaps he expected the insult to wound me. It did not. No, Ethan. I am finally unavailable to people who confuse kindness with weakness. He shook his head. You will regret walking away from someone who knows you. You never knew me. You knew how useful I was. I turned toward Daniel. Let's get a drink. As we walked away, Ethan called my name once. I did not look back. He left the party shortly afterward. Several mutual friends approached me later, some apologizing for staying silent during the relationship. I accepted their words without pretending they erased anything. Daniel and I stood near the edge of the rooftop as the city lights stretched below us. Are you all right? He asked. I am. Really? I thought about it. Yes. For months, I had imagined that seeing Ethan again would reopen everything. Instead, it closed the last door. He was no longer the man whose approval determined my worth. He was simply someone from a life I had survived. Daniel and I continued dating. We traveled, hiked, and built something without comparisons or emotional games. When disagreements happened, nobody introduced a former partner as a weapon. Ethan attempted to contact me once more through email. The message said he hoped I was happy and that perhaps one day I would understand he had only been searching for passion. I deleted it. He had mistaken instability for passion, anxiety for excitement, and loyalty for predictability. I no longer needed him to understand the difference. The truth was simple. I had never lost to Vanessa. There had never been a competition. Ethan lost me the moment he treated love like a ranking and loyalty like something guaranteed. Walking away did not make me the winner. It made me free. My name is Lisa J. Thompson. I was never anyone's second choice. I was simply giving first-choice love to a man who did not deserve it. Now that love belongs to a life where I am respected, valued, and never compared to the shadow of someone else.